Okay, welcome. Chumash and Rashi, Torah portion. Vayeira, we're in the second reading. Let's get right into it. Bit lengthy. Let's share what I was doing there. Yeah, I want to share. I want to share my screen. There we go. Okay. Let's get right into it. Vatichach achash Sarah. And Sarah denied. Hearing God's accusation, right? Why did she laugh? Why did she she laughed? That what? When the angel said that she's going to have a child. How's that possible? How's that possible? She's old. Laymor, she said, Lo tzachachti, I did not laugh. Ki yareya, because she was afraid. That's what she said, right? Because she was afraid. What was she saying? Ki lo tzachach. But said that she did not laugh. Let's see Rashi. She was frightened, but she laughed. The first key is a function of the word because she was frightened. It gives a reason for her behavior. She denied because she was frightened. Sheni key means Ella means rather that she did laugh, not because, but rather. But he said, like kidvarayich, who it is not as you say, rather you laughed. Who's the he? Is Avram, I guess. Rabbeinu Amru, Rabbeinu, our sages say, ki mishamish barba. The word ki has a function of 4 different meanings. It can mean which means if, Dilma perhaps, Ella rather, which is the second one here, and Daha because, which was the first one. Okay. So that's it. They're finished, the angels, with Avram and Sarah. And guess where they're going? This angel that we gave is now angel is going to go and destroy. An angel is going to go and destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. And an angel is going to go and save Lot.
The angels destroyed it or Hashem did?
Huh?
The angels destroyed it or Hashem did?
An angel is a messenger of God. Angel is not,
Wait, so it was Hashem who did it, not the angel. Okay.
Yeah, through a messenger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zion. And they got up from there, the men, so-called men, right? Yashkifu, and they looked up the over on the face of stone. Avram and Avram is going with them to escort them. Rashi, Zion. In 16, Yashkifu, they gazed. Kol hashkafa b'mikra, every gazing that's in Torah l'rasha is something bad, a negative thing that gazing upon. Aside from one, which is when God gazes upon the holy abode in Parshas Kisavai in Deuteronomy. For so is great the power it gives to the poor. It transformed the divine attribute of anger into compassion. Interesting why Rashi would have to say that over here. Like,
But everybody would object. We know that it says Dvarim.
yeah, but that's first of all, that's that's only one place in all of Torah, right? And when you get there, so go and explain. Okay, you can say that it's a
No, it says over here it's a negative thing. So right away we ask, what about over there? We know Dvarim, it says, it makes sense.
yeah. How's a 5-year-old know about the Dvarim? He hasn't learned it yet. Anyway, whatever, kasha. The Shalcham to send them off. He got him the Lavaisam to escort them because he was under the impression they're visitors, they're normal people, right? Yeah. I mean, they're obviously angel-like because they came and gave the good news. So, they were not just regular visitors. Hashem Amar, and Hashem said, am I going to conceal? Chas means am I conceal? Ani, me. God says, am I going to send me Avram from Avram Asher Ani? He said that which I'm going to go do now. What's he going to do now? He's going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. Shall I hide that from him? God asks, Rashi, Ani, bit me. It should be read as a rhetorical question. Don't answer it, please. Asher Ani said that which I'm going to do, Bistom in Sodom. Layafali is not becoming of me. Lasa is davar to do such a thing. Shalai midaita without his knowledge. Ani nisati layas haaretz hazois. I gave him this land. Chamish krachim halalu. These 5 cities that I'm about to destroy. Shalai hein. They belong to him. They were given to him. Okay. Right. Shenemar, as it says, that the Canaanites' boundary extended to Sidon, reaching to Sodom and Gomorrah. Avram, I have called him Avraham, an abridged form of Avamoin Goyim. He's a father of many nations. Ashmin is Abanim. Shall I destroy the children? And not inform the father. That he is my beloved. Right? So God says, I have to tell them. Right? By a Rebbe, nothing is done by God but that doesn't come through the Rebbe. And we see this instance over here, right? Avram, God's not doing anything without an engagement with Avram. Avram, and Avram, he is going to be for a great and mighty nation, and will be blessed through him. Kol Gayaretz, all of the nations of the world. You hear that, folks?
Soon.
What do you mean soon? Right now, it's the fact.
Okay.
All the nations of the world wake up and recognize that you've got to support Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel, right? The people of Israel, you got to support, right?
They will be blessed.
And they will be blessed. And that's not nice. That's the fact. Nice, not nice. It doesn't matter. It's reality.
Wonderful.
So got to live with reality. 18 Rashi Abraham, and Abraham will surely become Idrish Agada. The Agada explains it. Zecher Tzadik Libracha. Then when he mentioned a righteous person is for a blessing. Hoyel b'yiskiroi. Since he mentioned him, Berucha, so he blessed him. Right. We had that by Noach also. Right. So he's being mentioned over here. So now God mentioned, like, what does this all got to do over here? Why is he? Right. So because when you mention a righteous person, you give a blessing. Pshuta, and the simple meaning is, would I have kept a secret from him? He is very precious before me. He's going to become a great nation. And all the nations of the world are going to be blessed through him. Right? So the interesting why Rashi, again, we're learning Rashi. Why would he bring the Midrash first? Which means it's the main explanation. And then he says the simple meaning, though, should be the other way around. Number 19, Yadaiti, for I have known, right? I have 19.
I
Yeah.
promised or I've known.
Well, I've known him, meaning I've cherished him. The way he translates in right. That's how Rashi is going to explain it, right? In the translation, it's already giving the Rashi explanation, by the way.
Oh,
So just I gave you the exact translation, means because I have known him. Rashi explains that I have, meaning I have an affection towards him from knowing him, right? Leman asher yitzav es bonav, and what is it that I cherish about him? Because Laman means because asher yitzav, because he commands his children, he instructs his children as Beisai and his home acharav to follow his path, right? Not like let the kids be raised as just wild wild goats. No, you got to give them direction. And they keep the path of God to do tzedakah, righteousness, charity, umishpat, and justice. And as a result of that, God brings to Avram everything that he said concerning him.
brings to Abraham or to them? The blessings.
Well, all Avraham means upon him, about him, concerning him,
Okay.
everything that he said concerning him.
So children inclusive.
Well, specifically him. Okay, 19. Ki yadaiti, for I have known, I have lashachibad, an expression of endearment, my dear Leishai, an intimate of her husband. Halai bayaz midai tanu. I like the term with as is not bayaz our intimate. And I have become familiar with your name, however, Iker Lashon Kulam, but the essential meaning of all of them is Eino El Lashon Yediya, means knowing. Shemechaviv is Adam, for one who cherishes a person, Mikarva Yetzlai, draws him close to him, but Yodai, and knows him. Makirai, is familiar with him. Right? So, as I said, the word means to know, but it means in an endearing fashion. Right, but and now he's bringing it in a simple way that someone that you is endeared to you, you bring them close to them that you can know them better. And why do I actually cherish him? Right, because he commands because he commands his sons concerning me, to keep my path, to keep my way, the way of God. But if you explain it according to the simple translation of Unkeles, that I know of him, that he will command his children. Ein Laman, but the word Laman doesn't fit with the language. Laman is because.
Good.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the cause for the relationship. And here it means because, not in order, as Onkelos wants to translate it. So he disagrees with Onkelos. Yitzave Lashon Hoive. Yitzave is a present tense word. So Job would do. I mean, it's, in others, in the present tense, he's instructing. Not something that he just did, but I guess he's constantly doing it. Laman Hovi. In order that Hashem might bring Kachu Mitzvah B'Lebonov, so he does command his children, Shamru Derech Hashem, which means to keep the way of Hashem. Kidei Sheyavai Hashem al Avraham, in order that Hashem might bring upon Avraham, al Beis Avraham, Loinemar, it doesn't say upon the house of Abraham, Ella al Avraham, but on Avraham. So what do we learn from this? Kol Maimid ben Tzaddik, that anyone who raises a righteous son, ki ilo ena maze, as if he doesn't die. Because he says he's bringing it upon Abraham. It makes more sense that you're bringing these blessings upon the house of Abraham, right? That is going to continue. But no, it's on Abraham. Well, Abraham's not going to live forever. But yes, he does, because if he commands his children to follow the path, right? So you raise a righteous son, it's as if you don't die. Wow. Powerful, simple meaning of the text, Noch. Got it?
Well, you'll never, never mind, I'm gonna keep it to myself.
Vayeira Hashem, and Hashem said to Abraham, Zakas Stoim v'Ameira, there's an outcry of Stoim, Sodom and Gomorrah, Kiraba, for Kiraba, for it has become very great, the outcry. Chatos and Kikav Dama'it, for their sin is very grave. Okay? 20. Hashem said, Abraham also kasher amar, for he did as he said he would. That he would not conceal from Abraham what he's about to do. Kiraba, so he tells him that it's become very great. Kiraba mimikra, the word rabba in Torah, hatam lamata, when the accent is on the last syllable, rabba, the on the base, because it's rendered as gedela, as great, or gedela heleches, or progressively becoming great. I will say tamul, but the accent is above the reish, on the reish, the first letter. Miturgam, because it means over here, God lakvar, that's already become great, their sin. Kashim Rashi, as I have explained, but Hashem Ishbo, the son said, Shava Yibim Tech, just giving different examples. And as Rabbah, so it means it's in past tense, already great is their sin. So he continuing telling to Avraham, no, I will descend, and I will see Hatzakasa, I will see their outcry, Haba'a Eli, that is coming to me, Asukala, and I will annihilate them. V'im lo yeda, and if not, in other words, if not lo yeda, and if not, then I will know. Imlai, I'll know. In other words, if it's really, the cry out of the community there's a crying out to God about the evil, and because of that evil, I'm going to destroy them when I come down and take a look. Right? No, that's not what it says.
I know.
So don't read something into it. Okay. And I will, but if I come down and I see that it's not, in other words, it's not so severe, so then I'll impose a lesser punishment. Okay. See Rashi. He explains that Erdana, I will descend. Limed Ladayana. What does it mean God descend? God needs to descend? What does he need to descend for? A 5-year-old knows that God doesn't have to move from anywhere because he's got no, descend makes it sound like he is a physical entity that needs to go from up there down here. Well, God's not physical and he is everywhere. So what does it mean needs to descend? So Rashi says, this is to teach judges that they should not give a verdict on capital punishment, capital cases rather, but unless they see, they have examined the issue so carefully that it's like seeing before them. That's what it means. That's why he uses that expression. Hakol Kamashi Parashi, and all of that explained by Parshas Floga in Parshas Noach at the end. Davar Acher, an alternative explanation, Erdana, I will descend, L'Seif Maseim, to the end of their deeds. And I'll come down all the way down to, the end of their behavior, to I'll go down and see the final outcome of their behavior. In other words, as you said, whether they'll do tshuva or not, right? That's the second explanation. Now, of course, why do we need two explanations here?
Rashi's law.
Right. Hatzaka is an outcry of the country. Haba Eli. Also, that has come before me, that they've actually done. Rashi in 21. Yeah, if they act in accordance to the outcry which has come to me. And not only that, but they're also in a state of rebellion. They're holding by a rebellion. Then I will destroy them. But if they're not maintaining a state of rebellion, right? Like, the communists. What did Karl Marx say? That the revolution is not a revolution to end. A revolution, you always have to be in a state of revolution. Right? Always the fight. Yeah, here. So are they, fighting still? Hey, then I'll know what to do. Part of me, how to pay exact retribution, be certain through difficulties. But I won't destroy them. We found similarly Ve'eda, that term Ve'eda b'makom acher elsewhere. Okay, there's just some grammar over there, just to show that it means going down to check on the situation. And then I will. Rabbi Ronnie. So the rabbis, the sages, they take the word hatzakasa, meaning as they're crying out, takos riva achas, a cry of a certain, because it's the crying out. There was a cry of a certain girl, Shaharga Misa Mishuna, that she was killed in a very grisly death. Al Shenasan the Mosin because she gave poor person food. Is explained in the Gemara.
That's what he did?
Yeah, she had compassion over. They didn't want Sodom and Gomorrah to have any beggars, no poor people. They believed in eugenics, right? Sounds familiar, all right? And the survival of the fittest. That's why you have eugenics, is for survival of the fittest. And she was giving charity to the poor. So they tied her up, put honey all over her, and she was killed by bees.
Oh my. Okay.
So this was the final straw. Right. So that's the second explanation that Rashi gives. It's our sages explain, right? Sounds very familiar.
Yes. Very.
And the men who were with Abraham, who Abraham was escorting them, they turned from there. And they went towards Sodom. And Avram, he's still standing before God. Remember, God's having this conversation with him. Now the three men are finally leaving, right? They're not part of the conversation. They're leaving. They turned from there. Rashi in 22. The place where Avram escorted them, right? Because what's the there? Misham, what I mean from where's it there? Because earlier it said that he escorted them. So wherever that point was that he had escorted them, from that point, they moved on.
Under the tree.
I don't think so. Under the tree is where they ate.
Okay, I thought you scored them now. Okay.
Avram, Hashem, and Avram is still standing before God. But it is not true that he did not go to stand before him. Is it not true that he went to Allah? But Hashem came to him. He said to him, that the outcry of Sodom and Gomorrah is very great. It should have been written, Hashem Avram, that Hashem is still standing before Avram. The Tikkun Seifrim Huzeh, but this is an enhancement of the scribes.
Irreverent.
Yeah. In other words, it's euphemistic over here language, right? It means to be written respectfully. Because God came to Abraham. So it's not proper to say that, God is still staying there with Abraham. So it says Abraham was still standing before God.
Mhm.
Interesting. Okay. 23. Vayigash Avram v'yomer, and he came close, Abraham, to God, figuratively. Vayeira, and he said, Ha'af tisveh tzaddik min rasha. Are you going to destroy, obliterate a righteous and a wicked together? Right. In other words, because he's destroying everyone, so that means wicked and righteous together. Rashi, Abram came forward. We find this term coming forward when you use it for war. Vayigash Yoav, as Yoav came forward, and the people were with him in front of Aram into battle. Gasha the Fius coming forward for reconciliation. Vayigash Elav Yehuda. We have a parsha named Vayigash, right? Yehuda approached him to Yosef. Gasha Litfila coming forward for prayer. Just showing the idea of Vayigash, right? Coming forward. Vayigash Eliyahu Navi, Avram, and Avram undertook all of these. In others, all of those, and he came close, that we brought different places in the Torah. Avram approached God in that way, all of them. Ladaber Kash is one to speak strongly, which is like going to war. The Fius, conciliation, or the tefillah for prayer. All three things he spoke to God in that way, as we will see. Ha'af tisbeh, will you obliterate? Hagan tisbeh, will you obliterate? The Targum is Shalunkelis, but according to Unkelis, he Tirgum Lashon Roig is anger. Rashi says not anger. Unkelis says it's anger though. Kaperusha, then explanation will be Af Yisiecha, will your anger steer you? That you should obliterate the righteous and the wicked, right? Because you're angry, you're going to destroy both together. That's Unclis's understanding, but not Rashi's. Why he brings it if he doesn't think that that's the understanding? Oh, good question. Glad you asked it. Everybody with me?
Yes.
Or everybody on a different page?
No.
Ulai, perhaps, Yesh, Chamishim Tzadikim, maybe there's 50 righteous, B'sei Vayeira, in the city. Ha'af tisbeh, will you destroy, obliterate? Lo yisisa lamokum, and you will not spare or not find place, so to speak. In other words, spare. Leman Chamishim Tzadikim, because of the 50 righteous, Asher Bikirba, that are within it. Rashi, Ulai Yesh Chamishim Tzadikim. Why the number 50? So Rashi explains, Asara tzadikim l'chol krach v'krach, 10 righteous in every city. Even though we speak only Sodom and Gomorrah, but there's really 5 different communities. Those were the 2 largest ones. But there were really 5. So 5 times 10 is the 50. Now he continues. He's not satisfied with his request. Now he's kind of battling it, right? That might have been a prayer, and now it's a battle. Chalila lacha. Ooh, very strong words. Chalila, profane, sacrilegious for you. Ma'asais kedavar hazeh, from acting in such a way, to do such a thing. Lahamis, to kill. Tzaddik in Russia, righteous with the wicked. Bahayik tzaddik in Russia. Chalila, and it should be the righteous like the wicked, profane, sacrilegious. This is to you. Hashefet is kol haaretz, the one who judges the entire world. Layasim Mishma will not judge fairly. Wow.
Yes.
Boy, does he love Avram. Because if I said this, I don't think would be standing still. Rashi Chalilacham, to be sacrilegious to you. Chulin hulach, this is profane for you. Yomer people will say, Kachu, umnasai, this is God's craft. Sheitev hakol, he washes away everything. Tzadikim Rishayim, the righteous and the wicked. Kachasisa ledoramabel, this is what you did to the generation of the flood. Well, the Torah flaga, and then to the generation of disunion, you dispersed everybody, right? And now you're going to destroy. Well, this is what kind of. By the way, that's what they say. The God of the Old Testament. He's an angry God, right? You know how like ridiculous the statement is. Like God never changes, right? So in the Old Testament, he was an angry God, but came along this guy who doesn't have a father, right? And all of a sudden, God became a wonderful God.
Mhm.
Like, hello, like, how stupid is that? He made God good,
What of love.
huh? Yeah, God of love. Yeah.
Merciful.
Such a thing, who is neither it, but like nor anything like it. Chalila, that would be sacrilegious for you. He already said it, so Rashi says it's not only now that how people in the world are going to look at you, right? But also the world to come. What that means, I don't understand. Okay, there's different explanations. What Rashi means over here. The Mizrahi says, meaning in the spiritual dimension, and the Chizkuni says future generations. Olam haba doesn't mean in the spiritual world, but means in future generations. Okay, Hashevek kol haaretz, the judge the judge of the entire earth. Nakud b'chat patach hey shall shefet. It's vowelized chat patach, which indicates to me an expression of question. It's a question. It's a question.
Oracle?
Exactly. Please don't answer. Who would he who is a judge, he has to mishpat emes, not do a true justice? In other words, act justly. 26. Okay, we're good. Vayeira Hashem, and Hashem's responded now, right? He says, Im emtza b'staim chamishim, if I will find in staim 50 tzadikim, righteous ones, b'sei and asasi l'chol makom ba'avuram, I will spare the entire area for their sake. Rashi emtza b'staim chol makom. So if I find the staim, so the entire area will be safe, right? L'chol akrachim, all the cities. Right. Well, Lefisha Staim Haisam Metropolim Chashuba Mikolam, because Staim was the most important metropolis of all of them. Talabaya Kosov. So the verse refers to it only and not to the others. Bian Avram Vayemer. Avram responded and said, Hine na halti, I begun to speak Ladaber Eladeni, to speak to my master. And yet I am but dust and ashes. Right? I'm dust and ashes. The Alter Rebbe in letter 15, we learned that what that means, a deeper understanding. Of course, he's speaking it with humility now, right? Rashi in 27, I'm but dust and ashes. I should have perished and be like dust. Al Yedei Malachim, by the kings, when he went to battle the 4 kings, right? It's only you, God, that saved me. The Ephar and Ash, I should also be Al Yedei Nimrod, because Nimrod, right? He threw me into the fiery flames. I should have been burnt up and I should be only ashes. If it were not for your mercy, Asher Amdu Li, that stood on my behalf. So in other words, I do recognize that I'm coming to you with complete humility. Yes, I'm speaking strongly to you. And yes, I'm praying to you and whatever. But, so now he continues because the first round didn't go well. He didn't find 50. Perhaps there's going to be missing from the 50 righteous. Chamisha. It's called the year. Maybe they're going to be lacking. It won't be 50. Would you destroy the entire city? It's 4 neighboring cities also because they're lacking 5 people. In other words, 45, right? So God responded, I will not destroy if I'll find 45. Rashi, it's chamisha, which you destroy because of the 5, meaning lacking 5, which means there would be 9 for every city, 9 times 5, 45, right? Rashi's explaining what the cheshbon is of where is he coming to 45. And you are the righteous one of the entire universe, and you will be included in them. So it'll be 10.
They needed a million.
So it seems. Yeah. So it seems, right?
9.
Well, that's how we started off with 50. That's how Rashi's explaining it, because that's how we started off with 50. Why 50? Because 5 cities and 10 in each city, that would be 50. Now he's seeing that there isn't 50, so maybe there's 9 in each city. There isn't a million.
So God will make up for that.
So God will be the 10th, right? 29. And he continued further to speak a love to him, to God. And he said, perhaps you will find there arbaim, only 40. I won't do because of the 40. Okay. God is, amenable. So where are we? We're in 29. Maybe I'll find there 40. In other words, 4 cities would escape destruction. Same as when it comes to the 30. Mayhem, and they would save 3 cities, right? 2 would get destroyed and 3 would be saved. Or if there was 20, it would save 2. Or if there was 10, he would save 1 city.
3.10.
Well, let's see. I don't know. You already know the story.
Yeah, I learned it when I was about 8 years old.
Yeah, right, but you didn't learn Chumash Rashi. The 30. And he said, do not become angry, my master, and I will speak. Perhaps will find there 30. Won't do if we find 30. 31. And further he speaks. No, ha'alti. Behold, please, I began to speak, to speak to my master, to God, my master. I'm explaining. It said master, but it's really God's name. Esrim, perhaps you'll find there 20. I won't destroy for the 20. Ha'alti ratzisi, I wish. Moshe. Okay. 32. Yemer. Now he says, Al na yichala Hashem. Do not become angry, Hashem. Vayeira, and I will speak achapam, but this time, maybe you'll find there 10. But I won't destroy you if there's 10. Rashi in 32, perhaps you'll find there 10. Less than 10, he did not ask for God's compassion. Amar, because he said the survivors, the generation of the flood, we're 8. Noach and his sons and their wives, right? That was 8. Well, him and his wife and 3 sons and their wives. That was 8. The 8 did not save the generation, right? 8 was not enough. And 9 joining God in order to arrive to a total of 10. Because she already sought and asked about. And God didn't find. So he didn't ask for that. So this is the last request. Last verse. Vayeira Hashem, and Hashem went. When he finished speaking, Avram to Avram, and Avram returned to his place. Rashi in 33, Vayeira Hashem, Hashem went off, he departed. Since the advocate became silent, the judge departed. In other words, God's going to do his job now in destruction, right? Avram Shavlim Kaimai, and Avram, he returned to his place. Nistalik Adayan, the judge had gone. Nistalik Hasaneger, the advocate left. Lakatega Mikatrig, but the prosecutor still prosecutes. Therefore, the 2 angels came to Shem Lahashli to destroy. That's the next verse. Next verse, right, which will be tomorrow, that the 2 angels, Rashi's just connecting, right? In other words, so the judge left, God left, judgment has been made, right? The defense attorney is going back. He's going back home because he tried to make a defense, failed. But the 2 prosecutors, they're on their way, right? To fulfill the judgment. The 2 angels, that's the next verse, it says, that the 2 angels came to Stein tomorrow. The story continues. Okay, we'll see you by Tanya in a